No, I wish I fucking was so rich like him that I could pay for Nitro, get the M&Ms in the background of where I am. I'm broke. I'm broke, and I can't afford M&Ms in the background.
Yeah, this was an
No one
Easter
did give me
promo.
M&Ms for Easter, actually. Wait, the Easter Bunny gave you that M&M background? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, and I like that it's a harem, and you know, 75% of the M&Ms are male. Classic.
Yeah, they definitely treat that one female like a queen.
Wait, no, there's
There's
two.
two.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
brown
see?
and
There's
green.
two.
Oh,
right on my shoulders, you know, like like an angel and a demon.
And then orange
they're
is
massaging him.
The orange one's like he's really gonna take both of them at the same time, and Blue's like,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
man, look at him.
I don't like this line of inquiry that we're going down, if I'm being honest.
It's like, yeah, man, I see them. I see Rob double team them all the time.
Good Lord.
It's no big deal. Hey.
I said double team. How is Rob
Italian?
double teaming? Rob has two dicks.
Oh, yeah, Rob has two dicks.
Got one on the front, one on the back.
That's
very
normal.
normal.
Suck his own dick so easily.
And if you spin around fast enough, you take flight like a helicopter.
That character Tails from Sonic is based on Rob. Actually, they just had to make it more PG for the video games.
It's how I'm so wealthy. I get royalties off of Tails. Every time his Tails are in a movie or a video game, I get like $1,000. So you know, I got like $9,000 or something like that.
Oh, you know what? When you like helicopter with your dick, you know, like flip it around, and it. Did you learn that, or did someone show you that? I'm not asking you personally, Rob. I mean, you two guys here.
I don't remember like a class where someone instructed
No one
me.
taught me. Yeah, no one taught. Listen,
I think I just kind of figured it out. I don't.
Okay, I saw it. I had an older cousin who, his friend, when we were on vacation, like did that, and he had a huge dick too. So it kind of disturbed me a little bit. I was like, I can't do that like him. His dick's huge. And so now to this day, I just try to get to that level. And if I can get close to doing that, I feel like I can be completely fine in life.
Jake is just off
like everything's
the
fine.
corner doing like qigong, like trying to like up his flexibility and his strength so he can pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. I tie stones to my penis.
I know
so it gets longer.
I know we've talked about Kenny versus Spenny before, but that's like another one of my like underrated favorite episodes is they have a qigong competition, and Spenny has like a full-on mental breakdown like less than 5 minutes into the episode and quits the show. And then the whole rest of the episode is like Kenny trying to find a replacement for Spenny and failing. It's so fucking funny.
What is qigong?
It's where you tie you get a string and you tie it around like the whole like balls and dick, and you like lift weights with your junk. Yeah, it's like it's tied to like.
That's what I've been doing for 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like some weird like Asian yoga thing that like monks do. I don't know much about it.
There are videos of
anything.
Well, there is a video of a guy lifting. I do remember this video.
Truck with his balls.
Like 300 pounds of stones with his literally like a massive stone that they've drilled a hole down, and like they've like created an anchor point with like a rope, and he lifts it. The video I saw, he had like a robe on, so you know you couldn't really. For all I know, he had like he had a butt plug connected to.
Oh yeah,
He might have been cheating. He might have been using his like asshole strength.
What's more impressive, his dick strength or his asshole strength? Because I feel
I
like
think he
asshole
tried to-
strength is I feel like more impressive because like to clench that tight
yeah.
that it doesn't come out. That's
It's
crazy.
easy for me. The asshole thing, like, it's fine. I can clench. I can. If you put your finger in there, I can make it gone. I can just make it go bye
Put
bye.
your finger in Jake's ass, it becomes 127
It's
hours.
you're gonna
or
lose
you're
it
gonna have
forever.
to, yeah.
Did that guy, like, when he lifted, all those stones with his dick and or balls or both together, did he ejaculate when he finished doing whatever he was doing there? Is that how we knew he like did it right?
Done? Like, yeah, okay, no, no,
okay, you didn't. Okay,
it was a pretty normal thing
I
actually.
was asking for a friend, my father.
I bet I could find the video, and I think we'd all agree that he does the most normal thing imaginable when he lifts like 300 pounds of stones with his.
My dick!
He does make like one of those faces,
It's
like
not
where
really
it's
like primal screaming, just like what Jake was doing. Oh, my dick and my balls! Oh, this hurts! Oh my god!
Heavy rocks!
I think he might be one of those monks who took like a vow of silence. So he's screaming like internally into another dimension, and some far off like eldritch god is hearing him. Like, what the fuck is that? Like a dog hearing a dog whistle. Like,
when you said that, I pictured a dog hearing like a YouTube video. When you play a YouTube video of a dog crying next to a dog, they react like crazy. They like run to it really fast. That's how I pictured the eldritch god running to this man, being like, "This man's in trouble."
Oh my! I like to think he was like, it sounds just like me. It's like it was...
It's the sound of the ancient ones.
One of the ancient ones is it's when you do harm to your genitalia. I guess that's the noise.
The OG BME Pain Olympics.
I thought all that shit was fake.
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah, the Pain Olympics was fake. Well, some of them were, at least.
I assumed. Well, yeah. So
okay, good. That makes me happy.
Because there's the one guy that won 1 year, maybe the first or second year,
chopping off his dick or something.
Yeah, like slicing it in half and doing all this stuff. And I heard a YouTuber or someone like talking about it recently, and they were like, yeah. Back then with like, webcams reaching as high as like 360p, it wasn't very hard to like film a hot dog and start chopping it up and just tell people it was your dick. And started thinking to myself, yeah, man, like 12-year-old Rob was a fucking idiot for buying into that shit.
No, I swear I saw like I was shown that BME Pain Olympics shit, and it was like, I think it was BME Pain Olympics 2 because they did 2 of them or something, and there was one that looked like
looked really
just
real.
Not good, man. It looked like someone was like surgically removing the skin of their dick. And I was like,
I'm glad I was
like
able to avoid all of that until I found out it was all fake.
I was shown it. Like there's some sick fuck in our high school who was just like into that shit. And I happened to be friends with him at the time, of course. And he showed me that pretty much against my will. It was not like I couldn't look away. It was like it was like in the moments I saw it, it's like a compilation video of like all this shit happening, and like in like 2 to 3 seconds there was like 3 different things that had happened already, and I was like, fucking mind, no.
There's a video that I'm 90% sure it's still up on YouTube, but I feel like it's the modern BME Pain Olympics. It's like a montage of like just awful like gory scenes from like movies, like not real stuff. It's like like Raiders of the Lost Ark and like The Thing, like all of the goriest parts of like movies like that. But then but it's a montage that happens like so fast that you only get like a second or like half a second of each clip, and then as the video goes on, they start mixing stuff like the BME Pain Olympics and like really gory stuff in it, and it's all set to a loop of a guy like jerking it, like the smacking, and then
the cadence.
The cadence of the jerk off, and then they slow down Mr. Sandman to like line up with his rhythm.
Mr. Sandman.
Like Mr. Sandman, bring me a drink. That one,
Enter Sandman.
No. Yeah,
you were calling it Mr. Sandman. I was like, that's very polite.
The video is called. I think it's called like Full On Lovemaking or something like that. That's a fun video to say.
Misleading title.
Just so I know to stay away from it. Just so I know to stay away from it.
Yeah. So I know to never watch it.
So I know to
ever.
never watch it ever. Yeah. I never I'm happy that I like avoided the whole like Pain Olympics and the 2 Girls 1 Cup, like all the worst viral videos that we had when we were in like middle school and high school. But I am not proud to admit that I went through like a 2-day period when I first found out about Slender Man where I was convinced he was real and I could not sleep, and it sucked. And then what I didn't even like in the moment when I found out it was fake, I didn't feel like, oh my god, I just felt relief that I could sleep again.
Like, oh, thank God.
Like,
that shit was awesome.
Yeah.
Like when it was around, like the hype around Slenderman was fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is a great fucking spooky story. Now every time I see like a picture of a playground from like the 40s or 50s, I'm like,
is he back there? Yeah. The web series that kind of made him really popular, Marble Hornets. I made my girlfriend rewatch pretty much all of it in its entirety about a year ago because she had never really like gotten into it. Like, she is aware of like who Slenderman is and all of like the memes and shit, and it surprisingly holds up pretty well. I mean, like, it's not terrifying, but like there's some like pretty creepy stuff in there, and she's like, oh no, that's
like I believe in him again. Like, I believe again.
You're gonna have to like comfort me while we like go to sleep tonight, because I will not be.
Jacob is like 13-year-old. He was right.
Like, he is out there.
I am supposed to be scared of this. I don't know. I feel like by the time I was 12, I had seen just videos of people dying.
Seen a full-blown demon in your house.
Yeah, I mean,
you shook its hand, and you were like, "All right, I think I'm fine."
Well, no. Rob had seen a full-on demon, and then that full-on demon walked up to him and was like, "Have you ever seen BME Pain Olympics 2?" And then held out a phone to like, and he's like, "No, dude, I already
time
saw
in
this
480p. You can really see the detail."
And Rob's like,
"Oh
no.
God, that hot dog's getting torn apart."
Rob's like, "Nah, man, my buddy." Billy showed me that in class earlier today, and the demon's like, "Ah, damn it!"
Really? This is some sick shit. Okay. Demons keep falling further and further behind these new generations.
The demon is like, back in the 1700s, I was a trendsetter. Okay, like people.
Demons, we worry about millennials. We're afraid of those. Like how you're afraid of us. Gen Z, Jesus, don't.
We talk about all the time about like doing sketch. That's a sketch right there, like an old timey demon like trying to scare modern people. Yeah, write it down. Yeah, modern, like an old timey 1700s demon trying to scare people with like, oh, there's a black goat in the distance, and everyone's like, okay, what?
There's a single rain cloud over this house. Like, what the fuck? No, really. I mean, not to be
door.
Yeah. An old man walking along your property line, and he's too far away for you to really see his face.
There's a ball in a cup. This thing's scary as shit.
Yeah, the demon accidentally invented the ball in the cup game.
Hoop and a stick. Just come on. What? These are just old games now.
You're like, how does this hoop continue to roll? Surely a stick wouldn't be able to pull that off.
not to be edgy or whatever, but
Okay, here we go. Edgelord Rob.
All right, let's 4chan.com. I know. I guess it's like really. I think I had seen like a bunch of people just die online by the time I was 12, 13 years old. So I wonder if like hell is real and I get down there and it's like some pussy shit.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna get like if I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna get called into Satan's office, he's like, listen, man, you're kind of fucking it up for all the people who died before the internet. Okay, they used to be very scared and traumatized down here, and you're telling them about all this sick shit that you see right now. Really blowing up. It's like the bell curve is all fucked up in hell right now. You gotta knock it up.
Either
like
that
no
or
one
like,
has ever seen anything worse than Rob Morrissey in their entire lives.
And the flip side of it is like it's like the inverse of Bruce Almighty, where God's like, listen, I'm gonna take a vacation, you handle this for a while. The devil's like, look, I need a break, Rob. I'm letting you handle everything down here for the next few weeks.
Yeah. Like, all right, does hell still have live leak, or is that still shut down here too? Like, find a fucking 4chan wrecked thread and do that whole thing.
How do you
Satan,
think...
you don't look that scary. You do have a pitchfork and you're wearing what looks like fake horns on your head. The little it's not very scary, and and there's fake cobwebs all over
Rob's like
the place.
giving the devil notes on how to be scarier.
There's Halloween candy all over here.
Yeah.
This isn't scary.
So funny you say Halloween candy, because I was gonna say like in the devil's office, like Googling like devil costumes and just like just like, listen, look what they turned you into.
Yeah.
You're nothing now. You gotta really Slender Man is scarier than you are.
You can order you a Slender Man costume
Jacob
right now.
Boyer has more faith in Slender Man than he does you, Lucifer.
Just trying to explain to like a literal demon with like horns and like bone wings and red skin. Like, all right, if you put on like a business suit with a red tie and like a white face mask, people will lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll think you're from the IRS and they'll run away.
Is that the Slender Man thing? Is that like that's it's a deep-seated American fear? Is just like tax season?
No,
I love that.
That was one of the in jokes about the people who made Marble Hornets, is because one of the running gags is like the shit went on for like 5 years of like these characters like traveling around being like, we need to figure out what's going on, and they're like constantly staying in like hotels, and they're always like driving across like multiple state lines. So the unspoken rule was like, where the hell are they getting all the money to like continually pull this off for 5 years? Because they're definitely not working. And then the joke then became that Slender Man was like a tax collector trying to chase them down to like get them to pay up on all of the taxes they've been missing
Keep
over
your
the past
receipts,
5
guys.
years.
Like that's the scariest part about Slender Man. It's him like whispering in your ear to like remember to keep your receipts and like hold on to your W-2 from like the previous year.
Nothing scarier, truly, than getting audited.
There's also nothing scarier than doing the intro 20 minutes into the podcast. So welcome to the Buttery Mills podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Boyer, seated to my right. I don't know how it appears on everyone else's screens, but is one of my co-hosts, Jacob Demansky. How are you doing, Jake?
Hey, I'm good. And seated what looks like below me is the final host, yet to be mentioned. Now I'm introducing him, Rob Morrissey. How you doing, Rob?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me back on the pod. It's always good to be here on my favorite podcast.
Yeah.
I worry I won't be invited back one of these weeks.
You better watch it. You better watch it fucking too, man. I'm worried. I have the same fear. I worry it's just going to be Jacob one of these days, and we're both kicked out.
It's just gonna be me like saying to nobody. So any guesses how this gets worse?
Yeah.
Like,
interrupting yourself.
Yeah. It's just not the same.
Yeah, people don't understand that like really our whole shtick is that we just interrupt each other until the listeners kind of switch to a different podcast. So,
what I do. When listening to our podcast, it's what I do. I go, oh, we've interrupted each other too many times. I'm switching over to boys.
Please don't do that, because listener retention's a real issue that would help us if we could improve that. Yeah, okay, that's a good answer to that. Jesus.
Guys, I ordered joints from Boston. I had a friend who lives in Boston. He got them for me, and he came down to Pennsylvania, and he gave me them. What I didn't know when I ordered them, I didn't order them. I asked him to order them for me. Get the pack. Justin Bieber pre-rolls. He has his own pre-rolls.
That sucks. That makes me not want to.
They're not. That
makes me not want to smoke weed anymore. Honestly,
it came with a lighter. It's peaches flavored. I think he has a song called Peaches. I would guess.
Yeah.
So it comes with a lighter that says peaches. I think
no, I just really like peaches a lot.
They're rolled too tight. Too tight. I had to fucking do surgery on every one of them that I smoked to fucking get a hit at all.
Weird.
And it was expensive as fuck. It was really expensive. And so how
much was the pack of them?
It was there were 8 joints in a pack, I think equaling maybe a little over a gram, maybe 2 grams total, and it cost $60.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And the weed is really good though, because I took out some of the weed and I smoked it by itself in a bowl, and I got very high. And also, I took a long break from smoking weed, so I'm just getting insanely high every time I smoke now, just insanely fucking high. So this shit got me going. But J Beebs, your pre-rolls suck, babe. 1 out of 5. That's Jake's review. A new segment called Jake's Reviews. That was a 1 out of 5. J
That was a 1 out of 5.
I like to think that Justin Bieber is personally hand rolling them, and that's what makes them cost so much. Normally it would be $20 worth of weed, but it's because he cannot output very many every day because he's all depressed and Catholic all the time. So
he's I have too much money. I hate this.
It's so funny.
I hate this.
It's so funny that girls our age gave him $300 million by the time he was 18.
Through record and ticket.
Yeah,
because they saw him on that same quality camera that the BME Pain Olympics was recorded on, and it was this shitty 8-bit audio of a guitar that's been crushed to shit. Sounds really cute.
Yeah, because they saw him take a hatchet and cut off his dick in the BME Pain Olympics. They gave him all this money. It's fucking so stupid.
Honestly, I feel like I would have more respect for him if that's how he got famous.
If that's how he started.
Yeah. If he was I'm gonna cut my dick off, and now that I've cut my dick off and I have your attention, listen to how much of a good singer-songwriter I am.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's a bad joke to say, but ever since he cut off his balls, he can hit those high notes.
Yeah,
Whoa,
he can hit those high notes.
Can he hit the high notes these days? I mean, I don't listen to Justin Bieber, but
I don't think so. I can't think of
he's,
that was
Jake. What was that?
That was Justin.
You guys hear that?
I did. Yeah.
Really?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, that was weird.
Justin Bieber.
It was weird.
Justin Bieber
up in my attic.
Justin Bieber heard that
no one should be up there right now.
He heard that
I'm
Jake
sure you're
didn't,
fine.
He heard that Jake didn't like the pre-rolls and is I have a
thing
Justin
or two to
Bieber's
say
about that.
crawling through your air ducts like John McClane right now.
I hope not. The joints aren't bad.
Yeah. 5 or 6 out of 5. Yeah.
No, but I'm thinking since I got these joints and they weren't that great, but J Beebs is back, man. He's into weed. That's super cool, and I'm 100% behind the guy now. I think I'm a huge fan now, and I'm going to buy all of his records.
What's your favorite album?
your favorite album?
Top of my head.
Oh yeah. Clearly, like face illuminated by the white screen of a Google fucking page.
Come on. Albums.
Mouthing like out loud the words he's reading off the Google screen.
Under the Mistletoe, 2011 Christmas album.
Justin Bieber has a fucking
good.
Christmas album.
Yeah,
I bet it's good.
It's really good.
Yeah,
it's sick, dude. It's fucking awesome. I honestly check that out. My favorites. Another one that's one of my favorites is My World 2.0. It's like a re-release of My Worlds. It's amazing.
What is that? What is this thing you're talking about?
Another J Bieber album.
Another J Bieber album.
Another J Bieber album. I'm scared of what that was in my attic. I've been hearing things up there. I've been hearing.
You're
scratching.
fine. You're
I've been
fine.
hearing whispers.
It's normal.
Voice whispers saying
that's just normal.
You're
shit.
getting audited.
My God.
Bieber.
Telling you, man, I think like the truly scary, terrifying thing about Slenderman is just the fact that he looks like a government official.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
And everyone's always afraid that like government officials are going to show up at your door. So I'm afraid.
I was up late last night trying to make sure that my local tax return was all filled out properly, and I kept looking over my shoulder hoping that Slenderman didn't pop up to get me. I think I low-key did scare my girlfriend, though, because she was like, she texted me, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm also doing my local taxes. Or no, she said, I'm doing my local taxes, what are you up to? And I sent a picture and was like, hey, like, we're both doing the same thing. And she was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, is she not doing it the right way? And I just made her realize that she wasted a bunch of time. But no, apparently it was just a different form, and she was confused.
It's real fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the adult equivalent of finding out, oh shit, there's a test tomorrow.
Yeah.
And your punishment isn't no video games for a week. Your punishment is, hey, you owe us a couple $100 in late fees, fucker.
Or you'll go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, we'll send you to prison. No,
not over local tax. They don't give a shit.
They'll shoot you over.
They give you a bunch of
shoot you in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Well, I told you guys, I had a dream one time where, like, I filled out my taxes, and then the IRS was like, you owe us, like, $10 million, and if you don't pay up by the end of the day, we're going to kill you. And I, like...
Damn, they infiltrated your dream.
It's real.
Yeah,
it's real.
You guys, I, like, went to you guys, I went to, like, my family, and I was like, I need
Rob
help.
And I turned you away.
Well, no, that was the thing, is
here.
I went to you, I went to my girlfriend, I went to my family, and
all the people with no money.
And no, I wasn't asking you guys for money. I was like, I need help. You guys need to hide me, and you guys were all like, nah, man. Like,
we're all too afraid of Slenderman showing up at our door. You showed up and like, you gotta get out of here.
You're gonna bring him here now. I did my taxes. I'm not going down with you.
I just paid the $10 million. Okay, like that's the only option.
Why don't you just pay the $10 million?
I just paid the $10 million. Yo, do you guys hear? Elon Musk, I guess, said in an interview recently that like most people can afford $100,000 to go to space. Just generally, most in his worldview, like I think that he's one of these people who thinks that everybody secretly bought into crypto back when Bitcoin was like $5, and he just thinks everyone has a fuckload of money because he's that out of touch.
No, for someone who's like so obsessed with going to Mars, he's also just like so down to earth, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay, you're off the podcast. You're done. You're gone. Bye.
I'm sticking around. I'm gonna drink water though.
I'm gonna drink water. Though.
He's like another interview that happened recently. Jaden Smith was interviewed. And I like some of his music. Well, I mean, he's like, kind of in the mainstream again. Well, the whole family is thanks to Will Smith.
How old
but,
are his kids now? Because like he's the oldest one, right? Jaden, and then
think,
Willow.
I think Jaden Smith's probably like 24, 25.
Okay.
I think Willow's probably like 22 or 23. Point is, in this interview with Jaden Smith did the classic rich kid thing and was like, "Oh, well, you know, when I was growing up, I just thought all my friends' parents made movies and made all this like money and had these crazy mansions and stuff." And it's like, well, yeah, you grew up in fucking Malibu. Like you grew up like I bet most of their parents were making fucking movies, you piece of shit. Like what do you So yeah, I just think there's a more than ever I think there's a disconnect between rich people and normal fucking people.
He and Willow like specifically had really weird fucking childhoods, because I remember there was like a video that was trending a few years ago where it was him and Willow talking about like what their like just personal lives are like, and I don't remember much of the video, but Jaden says at one point that he doesn't like have teachers, or like he doesn't do homeschool.
Yeah.
What his parents apparently would do is they've built this like massive library inside their mansion, and they just would turn them loose in that library for a couple hours a day and be like, teach yourself stuff.
And Jaden would just bring in his action figures and like
I was gonna say,
like the background arena. And boy, he learned a lot.
Every library has books with pictures in it. I mean, you just have to seek them out, but they're there, you know. Like, if you've seen
Will Smith leaving like a stash of porn mags in there. Just like, that's if they get lucky, they'll find that.
Jaden finds like an old school like tasteful nude shoot with his mom on the cover, and then Will Smith comes out and slaps Jaden.
Keep your mom's name titties out your fucking mouth.
Jesus Christ.
No, because I think in that same interview, like the line that they kind of explained was just that it's like, oh yeah, like our parents were more concerned with like what we wanted to learn, not so much what we needed to learn, right? And you know, it's not like in American schools they teach people what we need to learn anyway, right? No. You know, but still, they're probably a little more on the spectrum compared to like people who just went to a fucking normal ass high school and had to. Like, I'm sure they've read Shakespeare, right? But but who gives a
hope
fuck?
For how often the guy says he's read Shakespeare?
Oh my god, yeah, it's all he talks about.
I don't know if he does or not.
Would
no, but you know, it's like I doubt that they were picking up books about like, you know, cell division or like, you know, calculus books, right?
Well,
they weren't
forbidden. That's forbidden according to their religion.
They were picking up books with like about just bullshit. I'm sure.
And,
You
know, how high your Thetan level should be at a certain age.
Be careful. I'm trying to get into Scientology one day. So,
okay. Well, it's not gonna happen.
Listen,
Too low of Thetans.
If I make enough money, I'm gonna fucking join Scientology. Okay.
Get me in there. I want to see what's going on.
I'm gonna be one of the. I'm sure there are people who have joined Scientology as a bit. Like they have. Like, here's the thing. If I was like a Bitcoin millionaire, I would join Scientology just for a gag, right? Like, I would like drop all my money just to get like to the highest level, like the highest level I could possibly get to, just to kind of go out and be like, so this is what those idiots fucking think. Like, if you pay $20 million, this is the secret information you get. Yeah, and I'd be a pretty cool guy for that.
Yeah, dude. I think you were fucking awesome if you did that.
I think people literally get sued all the time for like trying to disseminate those secrets, and then they can't really sue the people. You know, you can't really sue someone for that. So that's when a new book comes out. You know, a new scripture gets like rediscovered in the library, right? Some ancient lost text from the 1950s, and they start putting that in like the higher brackets. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, like, going back to Jaden Smith, he apparently has a restaurant where he gives homeless people free food all the time.
Okay,
It's just the
you
policy.
almost lost me for a second that Jaden Smith has a restaurant, and I was gonna be like, what? But
I think it's called.
that is actually really cool.
I think it's called Love or something like that.
Do you have to like prove you're homeless,
Yeah,
or
you
is
have
it
to
like,
get branded by him after
yeah.
reevaluation. That way, you're known.
well, because I'm thinking like,
I don't know how he determines that. I did think about that.
yeah, because in my head I'm like,
It's called I Love You. It's free vegan meals in Los Angeles
I don't want
other
that.
cities.
What homeless guy wants vegan food?
Rob was considering it for a second. He's like, I might just become
I'd
homeless.
fucking starve.
Yeah.
I'd rather starve and die in the streets than eat free vegan food. Listen, Jaden Smith, come to Philly, open one of those restaurants. You'll have homeless people around the block, and the second they find out that you're giving away vegan food, they'll fucking light your building on fire. Like, I swear to God.
Like a full like wrapped around the block line, and then you come running out of the front door being like, "Shit's vegan!" and like
It's vegan! It's all vegan!
The roar of like the uproar from the entire line. Like,
I want to see the first homeless person, treated to a meal there, get handed here's one mushroom, sir.
there's one mushroom, sir.
A piece of broccoli for you.
Yeah, a
Broccoli
piece
Rob.
of broccoli for your trouble.
I mean, what a bad business model. Because in my head, all I have to do is like throw on some dirty clothes and like not shave and not wear deodorant, and I'm eating for fucking free. Like,
Oh, it's he actually thinks homeless people and people of low class income are kind of a disease, if you will, on the earth. So this food is poisoned for sure. He got the go ahead from the government, the local government, and the police are totally behind
The federal
him.
government is still
federal
investigating
government
it, though.
investigating, but
yeah.
they're pretty much okay with it.
It's not a high priority crime for them to
They're
figure
trying to
out.
fix the homeless problem in California any way they can. So it's fucked up. It's fucked up. I hate to say it. It's fucked up though.
Rob's
Rob
giving
is
some serious
scared
thought
now.
to it.
I'm sorry. I'm like deep in thought. Basically, I'm just.
Gee, I
just
wonder
like,
how much
how do
a
we-
ticket to Los Angeles would be right around now. Yeah.
Die.
Yeah,
It's like,
just,
is this real? Can I
just,
really die that way?
go out to California, like set my tent up right in front of the store, and the next day, like Jaden comes in and opens the front door, and it's like, "Hey, neighbor, I just moved in down the block. I'm so excited to try your food."
Trying to die? I mean, eat free
Yeah,
vegan
yeah,
food?
yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, what do you mean you just moved in down the block? And you're like, I set up my tent right here. And he's like, you have a home, back of the line. Yeah.
Live in this hellscape.
Yeah.
4 walls and a roof. Technically, like it's a home, even though it's like a tent on the street. It's a home.
And you get into this like you get into this like philosophical argument of like, yeah, it might be a house, but Jaden, is it a home? Like,
Is it? Yeah.
like,
This homeless person with his dog. He says
a
when he's
homeless
with his
person
dog,
is
he
different
feels
than a
like he's at
houseless
home.
person.
When he's with his dog, he feels like he's home. He doesn't get a free meal now.
Oh my god. It's a publicity stunt. He doesn't actually give the free meals away, and his whole philosophy is like, well,
As long
home
as
is
you
where
can,
the heart is.
as long as you could, yeah. It's like as
So-
long as the only criteria is as long as you can legally prove that you do not own any land or property anywhere, then you eat for free. That's the.
I mean,
only
that's what I wonder. Like, is there a
requirement.
vetting process, or like, because like, there's tons of starving artists out in LA who could just be getting free meals. I mean.
Yeah.
I would put that fucking kid out of business. Is my point.
Yeah.
Like I would be an issue for him.
I'm just like, yeah. No.
He'd be writing me off as a loss on his taxes every single year.
Jesus Christ.
And I bet his
With
food is
the-
overpriced as shit too.
I'm sure
So
if
we're
you
not-
buy it, it is, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but exactly, like you got to write off those losses. So it's like, is it a fucking donation scam where he's like, well, technically I gave 5 homeless people $300 plates of vegan food today, so I'm gonna just write $1,500 off of my goddamn federal taxes and call it a day.
So if you buy, you've ever bought a bottle of Lafroig whiskey, you get like
Lafroig.
a little piece of land in Ireland, technically, that you own. So,
is that that peated moss thing we tried?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
I like that whiskey a lot.
I want to try it.
God,
I feel like
so
it.
good.
I haven't. I want to try it again and like do it like the because I think I just like sipped it. I didn't do like the. I didn't do like the actual like way that you're like properly supposed to do it, but I don't know. I want to give that a second shot.
What you mean? You mean drinking that really good whiskey out of one of my coffee mugs with ice in it wasn't the proper way to test whiskey?
Hey! You know, there's someone who used to be on this podcast at one point who has quoted someone else saying that any way you drink whiskey is the right way to drink whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of those people are that I'm referring to at all, but you know, someone we know said that once.
So this is a long-winded way of
certain host of Whiskey Without Borders.
There's a long, my girlfriend is making me watch her favorite TV show, The Vampire Diaries, and for whatever reason, whiskey is like just the prop that everyone has in their hands in like every other scene. Like anytime anyone's like at a house hanging out, they always have. There is straight up a scene where someone walks into a room, like takes out a glass, puts some ice in the glass, pours a finger or two of whiskey in the cup for the sole purpose of throwing it against a wall. And it's so fucking funny.
Well, that's like that you know, Real Housewives joke where it's like they keep like trays of champagne in fluted
just
glasses
to, like splash
all over. Yeah, they like set them up all over the house. So like at any moment you reach behind a pillow on the couch and you've got like a glass to throw at someone.
Watch any of those shows, but you know, now I'm going to.
The Vampire Diaries is not worth it. It has its moments that are like legitimately fucking hilarious. Like there's a scene, I kid you not, where I don't remember the name of the song, but like a character gets up in a bar at like karaoke night and sings a song like I'm burning up, like it's like a love song, and they're talking about like the fire, like it's fire is a crux of the song, and then commercial break. Literally the first cut after this woman is like singing this song about like burning love, like I'm burning up, is a character burning to death. I'm not even kidding. That's
art.
There's some legitimately
that's high art.
Hilarious moments in that show that we're not trying to be funny.
I was gonna say like I've watched like a couple episodes of True Blood, and
similar
there's
kind
some
of vibe.
Yeah, there's some shit in that show that's supposed to be like really hardcore and intense, and it's just like, oh, whoever wrote this is just like one of the most basic ass bitches of all time. Could be a guy. I'm not saying bitches because I think it's a woman, but like, you know, you see shit on there where it's like, oh, you just discovered like the trending tab on Pornhub, right? Yeah. Like you haven't even gotten into like typing your own search terms in. You're real basic as fuck.
Exactly, yeah.
Or like that oh my god, the like edgy fucking college level like TV show writer, like never drank or like did anything cool in high school, and now they think they're like they're writing like modern Shakespeare, and it's like you have no clue what the fuck you're doing. And luckily for you, the lowest common denominator like fits squarely with your worldview, and I just fucking This is why I'm gonna go to.
I disagree with you, Rob. I disagree. I think those people have lived, 100 of our lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're all
seasoned veterans of all experience.
Because they're all actual vampires. They have lived
hundreds
of years.
It just reminded me of something funny when they get when they have like 50 or 60-year-old Jewish men writing for like a teen show, which happens all the time. It's like you hear it in the dialogue. It's like a teen would never say that.
Yeah, every single like Lifetime movie or Showtime movie is written by like a panel of like 50-year-old women who have heard LMAO once and are like, oh
yeah,
everyone says that at the end of every sentence.
Yeah.
There's a crazy show. I feel like we talked about this on Jesse Dram's first episode, but there's a really crazy Showtime movie about like a group of friends. There's like 5 or 6 girls who all just decide like we're all gonna like sleep with our boyfriends and get pregnant. We're gonna form a pregnancy pact is the exact term they use. And
we're gonna ruin 5 guys' lives.
Yeah, exactly.
All together.
And
it's like, I insist that I wear a condom.
And but they have a scene where they literally were like the like ringleader of the group is like, we're gonna have a pregnancy pact, and the rest of the girls are like, yeah, yes, queen, literally. And it's so fucking surreal. It like, because on some level it's like, okay, that's a tone deaf woman writing for kids, but then on the other hand it's like, I could also see this as like a weird like David Cronenberg-esque interpretation, like David Lynch interpretation of reality, of like just these like 5 disturbed kids.
If a legitimized writer had written that,
is this high art or
exactly.
It's so crazy, like, to just think about the women like I know in my life. It's just, I can hear them immediately being like, that is some insane shit. That is wild.
I'm the inverse of that, where like I see something like that and I'm like, okay, like a panel of like older women wrote this, and then I look at like my mom and my aunts and like their friends and be like, is this what you think of me? Is this how you think I conduct myself? Yeah.
Well, so you'll see like shows where, you know, you've got characters saying like, that's fire, dog, and like all that kind of different shit. And then I'll catch myself talking like that in real life. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm exactly that basic.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I came up with something new today with one of my coworkers. He flipped me off.
Really quick, while we're talking about slang, like I just listened back to the, like, for anyone listening to this is the same day we released that 2-sentence horror story episode, and I listened back to that earlier, and the what the dog doing is, I think, my
that's
new
like a hit
favorite
online.
Yeah, that's my
seriously.
That's my new favorite slang now, is what the dog doing.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Like, that's been around before we even recorded that episode, but that shit is
what the
so
dog
funny.
doing.
I say that all the time. Like, there's like there's a viral video out there that's like a guy like, what the dog do?
What the dog do? Yeah. All right, sorry, Rob, you were saying.
What's the thing you invented today? It's a brand new thing.
Just my buddy and I at work. We're just kind of like, you know, giving each other the middle finger for, you know, about half an hour. We were just kind of flipping each other off like every time we saw each other, and he flipped me off as I was walking past him, and I was like, hey, do that again, and he's like, okay, and like, you know, gives me the middle finger. I took, you know, I took my middle finger, and I like fist bumped him with our middle fingers.
It's cool.
It's like a mutual fuck you.
And that's gonna mark my goddamn words in like 6 months when the new season of Euphoria comes out. That's gonna be. It's gonna be a thing. I swear to God.
I like the energy is like fuck you, but like respect. Like
yeah.
I like that a lot.
I got to give credit to my one buddy Connor Cameron for coming up with something. There's like I don't know, a phrase out there that's hip and hot. It's it's no cap on God, or on God no cap, but he went on cap no God.
On cap no God. I love that.
That's what he says all the time, and it's great. It's great. On cap no God.
There's a great there's a cat.
Hey,
which one's
cat.
that? Is that Bean?
It's Indy.
Oh, hey, Indy.
Your cats are fucking great, dude.
People listening
Thank
on Spotify gotta click over and check out Rob.
Yeah, check out the YouTube. You can see my kitty cat.
M&M's all lined up behind Rob, and then you see
the orange one's like, is he really petting that cat? And the yellow guy's like, hell yeah, he's petting that cat. Yeah.
I am.
The yellow one's like, oh gosh, he really is petting the cat, isn't he?
And that
I am millennial Godfather. I am millennial Don Corleone. This is what you see when you come to my office. You'll come to me today, of all days, on the day of my fucking.
Please don't sick red M&M on me, please.
Jesus Christ. What I was saying was there's a great it was like an old Dave Chappelle joke, like 2003, 2004, like before Chappelle show, where he was talking about it was like his agent or his accountant or somebody was like a really stereotypical white guy who like didn't understand slang, and the joke was that like whenever Dave would like say something like, hey, peace man, how's it going, like throw just any slang in a sentence, the guy like wouldn't know how to react to it. So Dave started this like game of like just making up shit that wasn't slang to see how he would react. It's like be like, "Hey man, how's it going? Zip it up and zip it out, eh?" And then
Zip it up and zip it out.
The accountant is like,
he's like, "Yeah, Dave, I love it.
Dave, I love it." Yeah, it's a great.
I've heard
great
that,
joke.
Dave. I've heard that one.
I've heard that one around.
When I hang out with my homies in the hood down by the crib.
And babies aren't in that crib, the one you're talking about. Well, they might be, but it's a different crib.
I think I think I'm too cloaked in like post irony or like meta irony where I'm a little twisted. I'll say very normie shit like to just to spice things up sometimes because
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I got called out like at work for saying something
funny.
that's normie, but like is now actually on the other side of normie. And
Right.
I said it in irony, and they thought I was lame, and I was like, "Oh yeah, wait, that doesn't come off right anymore."
I bridge the gap at my job. Like I've had people like at my job who I've had people at my job who like legitimately grew up in the hood be like, "Oh, like where'd you grow up?" And I explain to them like, I grew up in like the whitest, safest place of all fucking time. They're like, I never would have guessed. Like you have a great vocabulary and whatnot, but like I drop the the stupid connotation of speaking well sometimes, and I'll talk a little street, little hood, I'm trying to think, how do I make it sound whiter, right? Like, how do I be lamer about what I'm saying right now? But then there will be times when I'll like recite a rap lyric in like a super white voice, and people will look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you right now?
I kind of do the thing from there's a scene in Joe Dirt where this guy, classic line. This is how I speak when I try and act hood. I go, "Woman wearing naked." And then they go, "You like to see homos naked? That's cool." And I go, "No, no woman wearing naked." And they go, "Yeah, that's fine. You like to see homos naked, but
Jesus,
it's my street talk."
What's the 30 Rock thing with Steve Buscemi? Where it's like, hello, fellow kids.
Hello,
like,
fellow
very.
kids, yeah.
Yeah.
He's holding the skateboard by the wheel over his
Yeah.
shoulder.
Man, I've been watching a lot of 30 Rock lately, just like falling asleep.
Great
to
show.
It. It's super funny, but I ran through it like when it first been coming out, and I hadn't gone back. so long, and man, there's so much funny shit in that show.
All I've ever seen of 30 Rock is that scene. It was a compilation of like every time Conan was on 30 Rock.
Oh
And
yeah,
I really love. I don't know what the context of it is, but it's Alec Baldwin talking to Conan, being like, "Okay, so Tracy Morgan's gonna come on the show," and Conan's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. After last time," and then Tracy Morgan has like knives, and he's like, "I am a stabbing robot."
Yeah,
I
will
lost my.
stab you.
I lost my.
that
shit.
is all the context needed.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
all.
Yeah,
There's. I love that so much.
God,
Conan's
so
got a really fun like celebrity cameo status in 30 Rock because he's got that stuff with like Tracy Jordan where it's like weird animosity because Tracy tried to kill him on his like first appearance on his talk show. But then there's also like a part of it where it's like Liz Lemon, Tina Fey's like main character, had like some sort of like romantic entanglement with
like
Conan. Yeah. So every time they run into each other, it's like super awkward, and they're like, "Hello, Liz."
Yeah.
Hello, Conan. Like really, really weird about it. No, 30 Rock's great. 30 Rock is such an underrated show, and I guess not really because I think it won like 2 or 3 Emmys. But
yeah, it's big, but it should get more attention. I still feel that.
It is.
I know what you're saying.
It is better
Parks
than Parks and
Rec and The Office will get more attention than 30 Rock.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. No, because I literally, as you were saying that, I was like, yeah, Parks and Rec is bullshit. I still have like never seen an episode of
We came
The
to that
Office.
Consensus at the same time. I like watched it happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because because they get compared so heavily because it's Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and I personally think like 30 Rock is so much more original, and maybe it's not, but you know,
I think it totally is. Yeah,
the
it's a good take on like SNL and that bullshit at NBC. So
that's maybe why I actually appreciate it so much is the fact that it is kind of so hardcore on the level of like SNL kind of sucks. like these late night like sketch comedies that are all filmed live and they only have a week to do their material and everything. It's like, yeah, pretty fucked up shitty industry to be in actually. Like
yeah, there's like just one thing. I don't mean to just like pull jokes from 30 Rock all night, but I forgot about this. There's like once again a Tracy Jordan thing out of context. That's Tracy Morgan's character on the show. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how they got here, but it was like a skit where it was like Tracy Jordan was a werewolf and he was at a bar mitzvah, and it's very literally a song that's like it's a werewolf bar mitzvah, spooky, scary, boys becoming men becoming wolves.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite. There's some really funny music that's come out of the show, but Werewolf Bar Mitzvah is like one of the funniest things they've done.
It's over the top, dude. Head exploded.
Speaking of over the top and things that we have done before, I have a short segment we can go through really quick. Something we haven't done in the hot minute. The next few brackets of the r/I'm very badass tournament.
Okay.
I picked out some short ones, so we won't be here a while, but I have 3 brackets for us to go through. Our first contender, actually, for anyone who doesn't know, that we're just reading off posts of people trying to be badass from r/I am very badass, and we're pitting them against each other to see who would win. So this first guy in the blue corner, we have Phil. It looks like it's a Facebook post, but it's like cropped so bad I can't like see a picture or anything. The title just says Phil in it. And I guess Phil posted, "I cut myself in 9 places with a saw and probably needed stitches. I just yelled, 'Shit, now my saw's bloody,' and I walked home with a blood-coated hand."
Where were you?
Yeah. What was going
Like,
on?
what? He was like in woodshop class using a bandsaw and like literally cut off his hand, and he just what the
Oh,
fuck?
fuck, the saw's bloody. Sorry
That's
about
one of those really lame badass things. Like I remember when I was like 11 or 12 years old, rollerblading down my street, and I like fell and I really hurt myself. And it was the first time I ever like out loud publicly screamed curse words. And
Fuck, the street's all ruined.
oh my god! Well, my fucking driveway's all bloody now. God damn it! No, I like was screaming curse words like without fear of because I was like I hurt myself. This is justified, right?
Yeah.
I got to the point where even after the pain went away, I was still kind of like yelling curse words, like and it's like a very baseline like childish badass thing where it's like oh. I just cursed the pain away, like I just swore a couple times and that was enough to stop the pain.
They call them curse words because take away the pain, but if you use them too much, you won't
The
feel
pain
ever
comes
again.
back, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that
you
too.
don't feel and Phil is going up this is a Tinder profile. Guy's name is Dan. He's a muscle dude. He's got a ball cap.
He's a muscle dude.
He's like one of those guys who like walks around like this, just like showing how bulky he is.
Oh, one of those guys who like doesn't have lats, but he holds his arms up like this.
Yeah.
Like I love that shit. As someone who has lats and doesn't, and I don't have to do this, it's so fucking funny to me when I see people where it's like, yeah. No one does that. Like, unless you're a fake piece of shit, like, no one does that.
Man, dude, me too. I've lats out the wazoo, dude.
A massive lats.
It's the only well-defined muscle on my body. Just lats.
That would be truly the funniest fucking bodybuilder of all time. Where it's like no abs, no biceps, just lat muscles, just
chiseled lats. So they just walk around like.
Yeah, I was gonna say so chiseled and big that his arms are like up here all the time.
But anyway, Dan, Mr. I have no lats and I must flex.
Says, oh wow! Okay.
I have no lats and I must flex. Is one of the funniest things you've ever said.
He says in his Tinder bio, he says, "I recently broke up with my girlfriend because she didn't know how I liked my coffee. I like my coffee the same way I like my woman, without other people's dick in it." And then a shrug emoji.
Wait, can we hear this?
Yeah. Have we heard that one before?
I heard this before somewhere else.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I actually have seen this Tinder profile on Instagram recently in the shitposting world. That is funny. Yeah.
So
that guy wins. I hate both of them, but like the Saw guy, I mean, it's not much.
I feel like if Dan cut himself with a saw, he would probably like yelp and cry. I don't think there would be much.
That.
Yeah.
What was the first guy?
Phil, the guy who's I cut myself in 9 places with a saw, and then he says I cut myself in 9 places, and I walked home with a blood-coated hand. So I'm assuming that it's 9 cuts, like all centralized, like in and around this circle, which is pretty intense. But I feel like I gotta give it to Phil. I feel like they would get in the ring, and then Phil would pull out a saw and just start like going at his hand, and Dan would be like, "Whoa, yeah."
Okay.
Never underestimate, the power of the saw. Here's the thing. Pretty sure that this whole like I like my coffee the same way I like my women without other people's dicks in it thing is from like early Comedy Central show. Yeah, like I can't remember what but it's
not even that joke specifically, but the I like my women like I like my coffee is like a setup.
You guys hear that time?
Yeah. No, I didn't hear it that time.
What is that?
I didn't hear that
he's
one.
Finally he's located your room. He's gonna like bust in right at the end and be like, "You don't like those pre-rolls?" Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I just found a Reddit post with this same joke from fucking 7 years ago.
I heard someone like I think they were kind of trying to be ironic, but they made that same joke. Oh god, I'm scared. Okay, never mind. I thought Jake was setting up an elaborate like joke, like he was gonna bring in somebody to like yank him off and pretend.
You would do a bit the whole episode. I would be pretty fucking mad at you, honestly.
Yeah.
No,
You're investigating the noise.
No, for like the past few months, I am going to assume some squirrels got in the attic or some animal because, and I'm like just too afraid to go up there. There was just a loud knock coming from the attic again. I'm like, is it possible a human is up there?
No, it's if it's squirrels, they probably just knocked some shit over and freaked out. Because if it was a human, you'd be hearing more regular noises than just an occasional like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
True. It does sound like a ruckus is going on up there though. Like people downstairs in the house can hear what's happening up above me.
If there was a guy up there, you would hear things like, shit! There's blood all over my saw now!
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
There was, like, but to go what I was saying was, someone, like, unironically tried to use the, I like my women the way I like my coffee. Like, they were, like, telling me, like, in conversation, oh, I used the best pickup line the other day. And I, like, preempted him. He's like, I like my women the way I like my coffee. And I was like, cold and bitter? And he lost his shit. He was like, I'm going to use that. And I'm like, that's not going to have a high success rate for you, but feel free.
Yeah, just watch.
Yeah.
And, he's been with all the women I've ever wanted to be with.
He's been with every single woman I've ever wanted to be.
I think Archer has probably the best take on that joke. It's Krieger talking about the woman he's dating. He's like, I like my women like I like my coffee. Black, bitter, preferably fair trade. It's like a weird slavery joke. But it's like, truly, it's better than all the bullshit we've heard thus far.
Well, hopefully it's the brackets stay just as interesting as that first one we did. This is the kind of a long one, but I'll breeze through this. This is someone submitted a post to r/confessions, and now someone is sharing this confession that our badass made. The badass confessed, and I don't have a name, I don't have like a profile picture or anything, it's just like blank everything. They posted, I berated 2 teens in the mall. For concept, this is translated from Spanish, by the way, so if there's a weird, like, I don't know, that's why something might not sound right. I berated 2 teens in the mall. For concept, I'm a buff guy with a shaven head. I was in the mall on the escalator, just minding my business, when I felt a hand on my scalp. My first thought was that a close friend or one of my siblings were behind me. They're basically the only ones allowed to touch my head. I turn to see that it's just 2 boys giggling. They look 14 to 16 at most. I give them a verbal warning. I see one of them reaching for my head and slap their hand away. They're still laughing. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, guess a stranger needs to teach you what your parents should have. So I get off the escalator, turn, grab the runts, and drag them to the floor, holding them upright so they don't get hurt, but know that they've messed up, and end it with, get out of my sight, bitch. One of them took off, One of them took off.
So wrong. You shouldn't do this. But that
I would love it if this was followed up with like a news report, like area man arrested for like attacking children in local mall.
One of them took off, calling me a bitch personally. Waited for me to walk away. Then said it back to me in a low voice. I turn around to look at him. Kids looking away, frozen in place. I decide to just walk away. So what do you think, folks? Did I overreact? P.S. There were adults and mall cops all over the place. No one intervened or said anything.
And they clapped and cheered for me.
Clapped and cheered.
They gave me a standing ovation as I beat those children.
So that's our contender.
I received the key to the city, the key to the mall from the mayor.
From the mayor in that moment. That's
I love the use of bitch on both ends of each party. Like, what did the guy say exactly to the kid as he was shaking him?
So the guy said to the kid as he like, what I'm imagining is he's like holding them like up by their legs, like dragging them, and then just like tossed them forward. And the guy said after he tossed them, he said, "Get off my sight, bitch." And
get off my sight.
Get off my. I think that's a. I want to say it's "get out of my sight" because again, it's translated, but the verbatim says bitch. "Get off my sight."
I love the Freddy bitch on both parts. And like the way you said it sounded like Freddy says it.
That was actually one other thing about the episode that was posted today. When I listened back, there was such a perfect pop when I said penis. Like, it was just the right amount of emphasis. I was so
all about
happy
execution,
about that.
man.
Yeah. But so the guy said,
"Get off my sight, bitch."
Get off my sight, bitch. And then the kid said, I guess the kid just said bitch as he was running away. It says calling him a bitch personally.
Bitch runs away. So funny.
So that's contender number 1, and he's going up against
just a bad guy, obviously.
A bad guy
who just a piece of shit and a liar, because this obviously didn't happen.
He got owned by some kids, is what it sounds like.
He would be in jail if this shit happened. Like.
And he's going up against this person who posted a Facebook comment. His profile picture is like just it's a black background with a white stick figure just going like that in the middle.
Very badass.
I'll call him Stick Guy, I guess. I guess this is a comment about the Will Smith Oscar slap. In this comment, he says, "It was real. What makes it look fake was Will's weak-ass slap. It wasn't anything close to a bitch slap. Will's slap was weak in many ways. I've leaned forward and braced myself before a slap came. A real slap. It was the wrong time to react the way I wanted to. I didn't want kids to see the monster in me, so I chilled. Chris Rock just chilled. He's a true gentleman." Yeah. I didn't want kids to see the monster in me, so I...
We gotta stop watching anime.
Yeah.
For, like, generations to come. And
I like how
included.
The second half of that sentence does not match the energy of the first half at all. I didn't want the kids to see the monster in me, so I chilled.
I limited myself to using 50% of my power levels.
Yeah, that's what would match that first half. Yeah.
Then that is too much.
So,
dude,
So
this is actually making me think, because that slap did look like it hurt. I mean, I don't know, but I do
sounded like it was more of a palm hit than a slap. Like, it sounded rough.
I would like to see Will Smith enter into those like Russian slapping competitions.
Yeah.
Like, give up on Hollywood and like like that. I would love if the Academy was like, you have to go and if you win one of these tournaments, you can come back. And then Will Smith is just winning competitions left and right, and it's like, so you're not. He's like not a Hollywood actor anymore. He's like Will Smith, professional slap artist from here on out. Started speaking with a Russian accent.
By the way I knew that Will Smith like hit more with his palm than a slap is because I've been slapped really hard. In fact, I've leaned into a slap. A real slap. I've leaned into a real slap.
Did you have to chill out to avoid the kids seeing the monster within you?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want them to see my inner monster.
Shit.
So I guess it's the guy who doesn't want kids to see the inner monster within him versus the guy who will say, "Get out of my sight, bitch," to two kids in a mall. So actually the second guy is arguably good with kids then if he's like, I don't want to scare them. He has their interests at heart, I feel like. The other guy
I like that the first guy has a list of people who are like allowed to touch his head, which I think is very badass. I don't know why, but I'm kind of like, maybe I should make a list of like who's allowed to like touch certain parts of my body, you know.
I was just reminded right now, real quick. I forgot about this. Just something totally separate from this. Just want to throw it out there. Kendrick Lamar announced his album today.
Boo!
Like Kendrick, I'm excited. Let's get on with this. I will say, out of the two, I wanted to ask. So, can the first guy, because those two kids were involved in the situation so much, they were practically the main part of it. Could he use them as a summon, to fight? Could he summon two kids?
Well, assuming that he like tamed them, I guess, because they didn't really seem like they were on his side by the end of it.
Yeah.
Like I guess
Jake is asking, is this like a tribal token summoning deck of sorts?
Yeah. They're 1/1s that say bitch.
Yeah, like at the end of every like draw step, do I get to summon like two more of these kids onto the field?
Do I get to summon a little bitch token to my side of
a little bitch token?
Bitch, yeah.
I love that.
I'm gonna assume, like, if we're gonna trust this guy, this is not the first time that he's done this, for sure. If we're gonna trust his side of the story, so I would assume that he has a harem of sorts of bitch tokens that he can summon.
Let's not call it a harem. These are like these are adolescent boys. Let's avoid using the word harem.
I know that's a word we used earlier, but
yeah, exactly. Those are. He's got a gang or a gaggle. Like any number of words are better.
A harem.
a gang of bitch tokens. Well, I mean, he could. A gang of bitch tokens he can summon.
What were you gonna say?
I was trying to I'm trying to put myself in his shoes of like, because if we're to believe this is not the first time he's done this before. So I'm imagining like where he is in this process of recruiting the kids to this gang to be his bitch warriors.
Probably in the work release part of the process. Like he's in the middle of like appealing his conviction right now.
He doesn't. I don't think it's like a massive I'd say probably like a 5 or 6 member strong gang at this point. I don't think it's huge, but it's probably not small either. So I guess by that logic, then like sheer numbers, he could overpower stick figure guy who.
And if stick figure guy won't release his inner monster around kids, and this first guy summons kids, it's like he's already gonna lose.
That's true.
He's really,
He has great potential of losing. Who knows how strong he is at 50%? We don't know yet. We don't know. So.
Yeah, it might have to go to the first guy then.
He's got one rule, and what lengths will he go to avoid breaking it, right?
So I guess
I'm gonna say first guy.
Yeah, I think the first guy wins, honestly.
So
it's not even a power level issue. Yeah, it's like this guy just got countered basically.
Yeah. So this last one is very short. The first badass, people who are listening on Spotify, you'll have to click over to the YouTube version to see this, but I'll throw up a still of it. I'm gonna send an image of this guy to the forum so you guys can see. This is our first contender. He posted on Reddit. It's a picture labeled "hot meme," and he says, "Hey Putin, I made you a sandwich." And here's the picture that he posted along with it.
Yeah, let's see what this is.
This is. Oh man! If you had any guess as to what type of sandwich he was going to be serving Putin, you said possibly a knuckle sandwich. Man, did you just hit the fucking head of the nail? Rob is using a cat as like a scarf now.
Yeah, Rob's like background glitched out so
like
bad.
A travel pillow.
Your background glitched out so bad I didn't know what you were doing.
Hold on. There we go.
Oh my god.
There's my little boy. I love this cat. He just.
He's
Just puts
content.
up with it.
Oh no, he's not
really.
cool. Yeah. Holy shit.
Scratched your ass.
Yeah.
So that's guy number 1.
It's gonna be tough to beat.
Oh, I think I may have found the person who could beat him, though. All 3 of us are very familiar with this, the contestant he's going up against. Let's just call him...
Ooh, what?
Let's just call him Mark for now, okay? And
Zuckmeister.
we have
that's what I was thinking.
wrong Mark, but
Oh, what?
he has a quote that we're all familiar with.
Yeah, okay.
If I was on that plane with my kids, it wouldn't have went down like it did. There would have been blood. There would have been a lot of blood in that first class cabin.
Yep, the man himself.
I would really love it if Mark Wahlberg elaborated on that. It was like the plane wouldn't have gone down. It would have gone up. It would have continued to go up at an upward trajectory if I was on it. Planes aren't supposed to go down like that, so it wouldn't have gone down. It would have stayed upwards.
It would have stayed upright. Yeah.
It's like I'm worth $200 million, and I know a lot about these, plane aerodynamic things.
And cheeseburgers, if you want to know about that.
Have you ever had a Wahlburger? Oh my god, it's like my favorite fucking burger.
So the Wahlburger versus the knuckle sandwich.
Is it really just Mark
Who
Wahlberg?
wins? Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I
mean, listen, I'm looking at this picture from this kid. The anonymity is scary. He's got glasses on, a ball cap, and a mask, right? So that's already one aspect of it. He is also like scrawny as a fucking twig.
Yeah,
this kid is so small and like
he's obviously confident in his abilities. He's
exactly
a young comer. Young up and
is a young comer.
He's a young comer.
He's a young comer. But he's trying to take over the old guard, and who's standing in his way? The wall.
The wall.
Blatty Poots.
The wall.
Burger.
Or would they team up? Because I'm assuming if Mark Wahlberg doesn't like terrorism, he's also probably not a huge fan of Putin either. So
listen, if I was in Ukraine, it wouldn't have gone down that way.
If I was in Ukraine, it wouldn't. So would they team up? Do you think? Would it be a scenario? Would it be like a Batman versus Superman thing where they would fight for a little bit and then realize that Putin is the real enemy?
I like that. I think that's what would happen. Like, it's kind of obvious that Mark has like the upper hand, but he respects this young comer.
Mark Wahlberg's like, listen, you're a child, and I could fucking murder you right now. But I like your gusto, I like your style, okay? And so I like to think they do whatever that stupid, like,
our
power dance.
Yeah,
or the dance for, like, yeah.
Dragon Ball? Yeah.
Yep. I like to think they do that, and
the fusion
the fusion dance, that's what it is. I don't know. I think if they don't team up, Mark Wahlberg absolutely murders this child.
I think so too. Yeah. I think so.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's
the young comer.
It's the young comer in the red corner.
The young comer. He's in over his head.
God, young come upper. What was I trying to say? Young
up and coming.
Young up and coming. A young comer. That's how I'm gonna describe them now from now on. A young comer.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying that like it's a normal thing.
That new baseball player, fresh out of high school, is a young comer.
He's a young comer, yeah. And then when people are like, the fuck did you just say? And I'm like, what? He's a young comer.
The young up-and-comer.
Yeah, he's
young. Comer, man.
He's young and he came here. He's a young comer. Like
he's young and he's coming. Like, what's the problem?
Like, gaslight them into thinking they're the ones who made it sexual for no reason.
You're the weird one. You're the fucking weird one. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
God.
So yeah, that's all I had for the brackets tonight. Some solid matchups. I don't know if or when we'll ever get to the end of the the first round matchups.
It seems like we just keep doing first round matchups.
There's way too many badasses in the world.
Yeah, guess what, Jacob? It's your job to like move us into the next fucking round.
New badasses get discovered every day. I don't know that we'll ever make it out.
The old badasses are gonna die of old age. Like,
no, true badasses never die.
Oh yeah, they're immortal.
Tina's immortal. Tina will never die. Death will come for her, and then she'll look at her and go, "Get back in your car," like she did to that police officer.
Imagine like the Family Guy Norm Macdonald, like death,
like, hey, Tina,
having to deal with that.
Tina, I think it's time for you to come with me.
Oh man. Well, I guess does that wrap up our ep? Is that the end of it?
Yeah, I think that's been another episode of the Buttery Nails podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that has been another episode of the Buttery Nails podcast.
Wow, thank God, because I fucking hate you two so much.
Jesus.
What do we have to plug,
I'll
Jen?
just pretend I didn't hear that.
Just pretend you didn't hear it. You act like you can't edit it out. You're like Rob will come to you and like Rob will listen to your edit and be like, no, leave it in.
What do we got to plug? Oh, Rob, you have a plug today.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, we all probably have a plug at this point, but on the day of recording,
this
April
will be
8th,
released the same day that Jake's come out.
Yeah. So as of today, April 18th, tax day in the U.S., my episode of 34 Questions just dropped. I listened back to it, and I was right. My episode is the best one, even though Jake's hasn't come out yet. No.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you're rubbing your fucking hands.
No, mine's not very good.
Listen, so 34 Questions is this really dope podcast where it's like an interview style podcast. The whole premise is like, kind of by the end of it, the guy who hosts it is like kind of posing the question of like, in 100 years, if your relatives and like descendants heard this, like, what would you want them to like know about you, right? It's a very interesting premise for a show, but above all else, it's an awesome show. 34 Questions.
Cool. He's really fun to talk to.
Jed's super great, really high energy. At least, I know on a couple, because I've listened to my episode, I listened to Jacob's episode, and I've listened to a couple other episodes at this point, and yeah, man, it's a very cool show. I've already recommended it to. I've sent my episode out to a bunch of people. I'm really hoping that Jed sees like a nice bump in listeners this week, because listening back to it was like, I had such a fun time doing this episode. I'm sure Jacob would agree that he had 100%. An awesome time. Yeah. And Jake's episode comes out next week, so you got 3 episodes of the Buttery Nails.
Mine isn't as good as Rob's. It's not my fault though. I was perfect.
Mine was just so good. Mine was so good. It kind of
the guy who hosts the show 34 Questions kind of like fucked it up when he did mine. He just like didn't know what he was doing at all.
I really broke the mold on that
Just
one.
kidding. No, he's cool. He's cool.
He just completely forgot his format, his own format that he's been doing for like a year at least.
He just kept falling back to like, wow, Rob's episode was really good, huh?
That's what he just kept saying during mine. made this joke already, but it's true. He just kept looking at me and was like surprised. He was like, "Oh, you're not Rob." Wait,
I just wish Rob was.
How would Rob
I'm
answer
sorry.
this question?
I thought I robbed
Like,
on again this
I don't
week.
know. I'm Jake, and he was like, "But that answer, that's not like how Rob would do it. Try and do it like how
Rob would say it better." Yeah.
I thought this was the 34 Robs podcast.
Rob.
Yeah.
Listen,
psychotic break.
It's good. Like 34 questions is good. I'm sure that Jake's episode will be just as good as my episode and Jacob's episode. So,
my internet connection was really, really bad. So I was there. We shouldn't talk about this right now. There was a big chance in my mind mine was just gonna get canned because there was some serious. Right now, Rob is frozen on my screen. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know
what
what's happened.
Like, as I'm saying this, my internet connection is shit. Anyway, who cares? The show's great. Rob's episode, haven't listened to it yet. I'm sure it's great. Jacob's, I've listened to a little bit of it. It's awesome from what I've heard.
34 Questions is just a dope podcast, hands down.
That guy, what's his name? You said Jed?
Jed, yeah.
Told me it, but he told me he prefers 34 on the show.
Oh, yeah,
Old, cool guy.
Yeah, really cool guy.
Cool.
And he also, I think he mentioned at the end of mine, and he also mentioned at the end of Rob's, he wants to have all three of us on at some point. I don't know how that'll go, but that'll be I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be a fun time.
Well, and we have him scheduled to come on one of our upcoming episodes. So,
do we know when that is yet? Can we plug that for the?
Yeah, it's the 25th. It's going to be a late record for us, though.
Oh, that's next week.
You know.
I forgot about that.
That'll probably be our first episode in May. I don't know what's wrong with my fucking computer, but clearly something is wrong with it.
Anyway, check out 34 Questions. Jacob, plug your podcast.
Yeah. So there we go. All right. Yeah. No. So I kind of hate doing this because like this is a fun podcast, but I do actually kind of want to get serious for a second. So like those of you who don't know, I do the Watch List podcast. It's like a movie based like review, like talk to people who like are involved in like media or entertainment in some way, recommend movies and all that. I recently found out, like recently being yesterday, that one of the very first guests that I had on, I want to say it was episode 6 or so, it was this girl named Emmy. She was someone I went to college with. She's a really talented comedy writer. She did a bunch of like really funny like comedic sketch short films when we were in college together. I worked with her a few times before doing the podcast. She acted in a couple of my short films. And then we did the Watch List podcast back, like one of my first guests I had on. I found out yesterday she unfortunately passed away back in late February. This freak accident, house fire. But I wanted to plug her episode specifically because I listened back to it and it was a fun time. She was super fun to talk to. I earlier today like went through and I was watching a bunch of the stuff that was still up on YouTube from like our like friends' accounts or like her YouTube account or like, so anyone who wants to watch some funny stuff, like her impact is obviously going to continue for people who knew her, but unfortunately now her work is finite. So go out and appreciate there is of it that's public. She was super cool.
And sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's a bummer, man.
Very sorry to hear that.
Again, I hate to like turn it serious right at the end, but I literally found out yesterday, and I was like, I don't know. The watch list is on break, so I feel like it would have made more sense to do it there, but like I don't know. I wanted it to like, I don't know, just rest in peace.
That's honorable of you, and it's appreciated, man. I'm sorry about that. That's really tough, and I appreciate that. I think everyone should go check that out.
Yeah,
in her honor. And
yeah, Emmy, I don't remember what her YouTube channel name was, but if you look up like Emmy Padula short films or like comedy sketches, it's like EMI space PADULA. You'll find a bunch of stuff. She did a really funny sketch called Ghouls Get Gone about these like conspiracy theorist like esque people trying to do like a Ouija board like exorcism of their friend. Like she did a like kind of dark but like really really funny sketch about suicide called Mumble Cuts, which was really really fucking funny. And obviously her episode in the watch list, I want to say it was either episode like 6 or 7. She was really fun to talk to. She never really went like super far in the industry, but like she, I think up until she passed, obviously she was like part of a like I don't remember the name of the company, but she did like script doctoring, like script revisions for like indie films and like web-based videos and whatnot. So I mean, I'm sure if you look for her name, you'll find some credits out there. But yeah, just super talented. Gone too soon. Everyone should appreciate what is public of hers now that we know that this is what her catalog is. But yeah.
My condolences, man. That's tragic.
I appreciate that. So does anyone have a good like butt joke or something to like lighten the mood right at the very end?
I mean,
Damn.
people, you know where to follow us.
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter, it's the same thing. Buttery Mails.
Listen, Jake is like giving this chick some very high praise, and she was doing like comedy stuff, and so it sounds like the competition is narrowing for us, and it's. I'm fucking.
She would have loved that joke. She would have really appreciated that joke.
Yeah. It's life happens, man. Like it's a guaranteed we're all gonna die one day. You know, it sucks,
But while you're here, continue to listen to the Buttery Mails podcast.
Yeah, listen to our podcast. Check out Jacob's podcast, the Watch List Pod. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. You can watch our episodes on YouTube now. That's our whole new thing. Is like we're recording.
Those of you who are listening to this can tune in and see our actual faces while we talk.
See my cats. Watch me put my cat over my shoulders and get attacked. It's and so check out everything we're doing, Buttery Mails wise, Watchlist wise. Check out 34 Questions, and man, just try to have a good rest of day, morning, evening, whenever you're listening to this.
Oh yeah.
Peace, everyone.
And if we're doing, because you said the 25th, next episode is when we'll have 34 on. So everyone look forward to that, because that's going to be a really fun episode.
That'll probably come out May 2nd. So again, he's very good, and we should come up with some sort of like take on his 34 questions thing. Well, we'll think of something, but
we'll do 35 questions, but instead of like all the deep, like legitimately thought-provoking shit he does, it's just like, so, what's your favorite color?
Apples or bananas? You like raisinets? Like, it's just fucking. All these like close-ended questions that don't merit a response. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.